Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rahul Koul, and I welcome you all to this episode of Face to Face with BioVoice News. So, today, our guest on the show is Mr. Harish Bisam, founder and managing director, Bisam Pharmaceuticals. A warm welcome to you, Harish, and a pleasure to interact with you today.
Thanks, Rahul. Thanks for the invitation and thanks for the opportunity to be here.
So, tell us briefly about Bisam Pharmaceuticals and how has the company evolved since its inception?
Bisam Pharmaceuticals was started a few years ago, especially when I've identified some requirement in the raw materials globally, especially coming out of Australia, right? So I was getting a lot of queries from my peers on Collins Street, from Melbourne, from Sydney. They asked me whether I could do something in pharmaceuticals, and I had, with my family background and with my connects in India, I had a lot of people who I could go to. That's where it actually started. So I did not actually start it as a enterprise itself, but it happened because there was an opportunity I picked up from my peers, from my team members in Australia. So when it happened, they started putting small orders to me, and then I used to forward them to some of the people in India, and then started the Bisam Pharmaceuticals. But during this process, I've identified a lot of gaps where there are gaps, and especially in volumes, high volumes, and all that. But ultimately, I was actually playing the game everyone was playing. So I kind of slowly backed down a bit, and then went into a path where I wanted to work in specific products. Like, there is a product, thin films. There's no thin film product in Australia yet. Okay. So I have identified a lot of players in Indian market, and I've also identified some of the contract manufacturing facilities in Australia. And then what we have done is I have bought the licenses for those products, and I'm introducing those products in Australia now. So that's how I've started Bisam Pharmaceuticals.
Right. And you have recently introduced an app which is called Quick Vitals,
Yes.
and it is being claimed to be the world's first AI and deep learning powered health monitoring app. So what makes it different from similar apps in the market in terms of technology and its unique features? Because these days we see a lot of apps, and we get also confused that how are they different from each other. So you'll have to tell us, how is this app unique?
Yes, yeah. So coming to Quick Vitals itself, right? The product was never planned. Okay, to be honest, right? So I always thought India is the playground for medical tourism. India is the home for medical tourism. India can service the global market for medical purposes. So that's what I thought, and we have started a product in 2016 with another partner, and we have come to India, and we spoke to the government here. That was a different government then, and we spoke to the health minister here. We have presented how we can actually sort out the wait list. There was a big wait list. There is always a big wait list in Australia for knee reconstructions, hip reconstructions, and all these problems, right? So we have presented a solution to the government, and we went to India. We spoke to a lot of groups. I don't want to name them, but a lot of big groups, and then they were very happy to work with us. We have created the platform where we could actually do service this medical requirements for Australians and other people also. But India was our place to go. Okay, so we were actually partnering with small clinics, good clinics, reputed ones, as well as the big hospitals as well. So it was an opportunity for the patient or a client in this case, or a patient in this case, to pick his own doctors. Okay, and he can go to a doctor for 500 rupees, or he can go to a doctor for 5,000 rupees. It's up to them. That was what platform was doing. Unfortunately, in this process, my partner had to leave Australia, and he went back. And then in this process, I was busy with my other investments. I kind of stopped working on this medical tourism project. But it was in back of my mind. I always wanted to do this. In 2019, I restarted this process. Okay, I restarted this process. I've called it this a Doctors Plus. When I went to a lot of developer companies, like IT companies in US, India, and Australia, and all these IT companies. I wanted to develop this product. This was what my concept is, and I wanted them to develop this for me. But two, three companies, they could not understand the vision. They created something out of their own vision. They did not understand what I wanted. So it fell off. And we were going to and fro, and there were a lot of meetings. They never understood what exactly I wanted, and they wanted to give me what they want. So I wasn't satisfied. Slowly in this process, unfortunately, COVID happened. Okay, and then after COVID, I restarted this 2021. Doctors Plus, I've hired my own team, a lot of technical team from US, from Israel, from Australia, from everywhere. And then ultimately, the seamless service which I wanted to provide to a patient, I wanted the service to start as a small telemedicine or tele-specialist service in Australia. What it will do is, especially in Aboriginal communities, there's huge gaps here in Australia. And then I have got a lot of friends who are specialists here in Australia. So what I was doing is, a patient comes and books an appointment, like a normal appointment, and then the patient is serviced by a doctor. Everything is seamless, but there was one issue where patients had to be checked for, or measured for their vitals, right? Their blood pressure or whatever. But we checked on, or we verified a lot of tools which were already available. For a lot of tools, for example, you have to put your finger like that, okay, or you have to go to a facility, or you have to wear a bandage, or you have a band, or you have a watch, or you have to wear some you have to buy something. Or I also spoke to a couple of diagnostic companies, which are massive companies in Australia. They gave me two solutions. One is go to the facility, or their people will come and draw the blood, something like that. But again, for a basic medical consultation, I'm actually prolonging or making it very hard for the patient rather than making it easy. So this is, I kind of, I was struggling with this. In this process, I spoke to a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends know, especially what I'm trying to do, and then they suggested me various different tools available in the market. In this process, I met a few engineers who, I think, how there is a oximeter, oximeter, when you put it, it works with photoplethysmography. It's like light therapy. The light is actually sending some signals to the arteries, and with the blood, I'll keep it very simple. Okay, so the blood flow within the arteries is actually the measure. It gives out a signal to the equipment itself, and then it will calculate how much oxygen is in your blood. Okay.
So is there a name? Is there a name for this core technology? Which I mean, or
it is. This is not rocket science. This is photoplethysmography. Okay. Here in this oximeter, and there are a few other equipment which are coming up now. Okay, but they all need an equipment. Then we came up why this photoplethysmography cannot be captured on the phone. Right, it's the same thing, right? It's all about your outer light actually sending out signals to the phone, and there is an algorithm. There's a lot of artificial intelligence and algorithms within the system, and they will do all the required. Okay, so they will do the calculation and give you whatever vitals need to be done. So this is how it all started, and then we have integrated that system into Doctors Plus, but then we have identified Quick Vitals can go by itself, because any other system in the market, okay, when we are saying first of its kind, we have got the approval from CDSCO, we've got Drug Control Authority approval in India, we have got ISO certificate, and we've done a lot of validations, and we are now talking to some of the committee members in NMC, National Medical Council, as well in India. Okay, so again, coming back to the product itself, right? You do not need to purchase any other gadget. All you need is a decent phone. Like everyone has a phone. Like, for your common auto rickshaw person to a billionaire, everyone has a phone. Okay, everyone has an Android or an iPhone or something like that, right? So this phone itself is necessary for him to do most of the calculations, most of the vitals, most of his health check. And what we are trying to tell you is, this is a complement to the current system. This is all about early diagnosis, early detection of an issue. So if you see, like, we were not very confident about HbA1c, so we pulled it off. So we will reintroduce that later in January. And early next year, we are planning to introduce cholesterol risk also. So at this stage, it does oxygen, your blood pressure, your diabetes risk, your heart rate, your oxygen saturation, your hypertension risk, all these things. There are a lot of other, your stress as well, your stress levels are also monitored. All these things we have, whatever we are very confident and comfortable, we have done hundreds and hundreds of clinicals. Whatever we were comfortable with, those ones are available for the people to check.
I think
Did
you
I
have
answer
already
your
answered.
question?
You have already answered. At least two of my questions. That is,
Oh, okay.
what inspired you to, to develop this app, and and what are the unique features and all. So now, coming to another point that you mentioned that there were certain parameters you introduced, but you did not go ahead with it. So what was the reason? And also, how do we, make sure that the accuracy is 100%, or whether it is 100%, that needs to be answered.
Yes. So, when if you use two different company blood pressure equipment monitoring systems, right? Use different companies, put it on this arm, okay, and measure it. It will give you a variance. Okay, same blood pressure monitoring equipment, but different companies, same technology. You press the button, it will blow this up, and it will send some kind of information to this equipment, and that's how most of these things are done, right? Okay, but the accurate blood pressure is done. You know how you go to a doctor, they press it, old style. That's the accurate measure. That's more accurate than anything else. So coming back, so when we were actually doing this, our objective was to keep the variance as low as possible. So our variance, WHO standard variance, acceptable variance is 0.5 to 4 or 5%. It should not be more than that. Okay. So any vitals we have on our system now, on Quick Vitals, is below 2%. I can tell you that. Okay. When you subscribe to Quick Vitals, let's say Rahul starts using it today, okay, and you use it in every day, you start using it, okay, in 3 days time your variance goes lower and lower. It is understanding your reading regularly. I don't want the same system to be used by your wife or anyone else, because these algorithms are calculating, doing a lot of work on the background and giving you accurate results. That is what this is all about. Okay. And then HbA1c was actually giving very accurate result, but in some cases it is showing at least 7% variance, and we were not happy with that. That's why we pulled it off, and we will reintroduce. We are very close to getting 2%, 3% variance now. So we are very close to reintroducing that into Quick Vitals tool.
Right. So who is working behind this app? Are you yourself involved in this process, or there's a team, of experts?
Sorry, yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, is there a team of experts now which is developing this
There
app?
are a lot of scientists involved. There are a lot of technical team involved. I am just the front face. Okay, I'm no way involved. If I created a tool like this, I would never have used it myself. Okay, so there's a big technical team involved. There's a team in Israel. There's a team in US, and there's a team in India. Okay, India team is doing the outer layer, like the packaging of it, and most of the work is being done in little bit of the work is in US, and little bit of the work is done in Israel and some in Australia. So it is everywhere. There is a component coming out of different teams. So we have teams working on this 24/7. Like it's a lot of work being done, and they're all specialists, and they know exactly what we are doing. And there's a lot of I'm sure you've got some of the material and some of the validation reports we probably shared with you. And a lot of universities have done research on this. Okay, there's a lot of research papers, white papers released on this, so you can actually go through them. And we have, for our technical team actually follows all those guidelines and also WHO's guidelines before we actually release this onto the general public. Again, it is a product which can be useful for early detection. Especially you see India, you see anywhere, especially after COVID, right? People are scared. Okay, I don't want to name, but I was during my trip here to Delhi recently, when I went to Indian Mobile Congress. I went to a media outlet, right? Okay, and I went a very prominent person there, and I was seriously surprised. I don't want to go to medical checkup because I'm scared. This is the word used. Okay, so this is a common practice in a lot of people. Okay, but what we are trying to tell is this is early detection. You just check it. It doesn't hurt you. It's very cheap. It's accessible. It's in your pocket. When you're going out, you're paying with your phone. You're doing everything with your phone. Okay, we don't want everyone to hook up to their phone, but your basic things are being done on the phone now. So use this phone for help.
This app already available in the market, and how many subscribers are there, and what are the long-term objectives?
Yeah, app is already available in the market. Okay, Quick Vitals is the product name, as you know. There's around 12,500 subscribers now, and number is growing significantly, but we haven't actually marketed it because the first soft launch, when we did that, we actually wanted people to give us feedbacks, and there was a lot of feedback, especially look and feel feedback. Because what we have done is we are using photoplethysmography, which is pretty old technology anyway, and marrying up with a lot of algorithms, which is new, right? So there's a lot of new and old and all that, correct? But at the same time, one mistake we did was we used a old style report system, like how you go to get your bloods done, and then they give you a report, right? So we used a similar report, and which was not very convenient, or which was not user friendly. People were not able to understand. So what I've done is I've actually asked our developers to come up with a better solution, which is actually very, very simple. Like, if you go to Quick Vitals and then check your measurement now, your report will be something like that. Very simple. It will say your wellness score. Okay, and then it will also come up with very clear definition of what you have, all these measurements, right? Okay, so then that is one step, and there are a lot of other things. We have made it very, very, very easy for anyone to use. Okay, this can be used in tribal community. This can be used in a lot of factories, especially a lot of places people are killing themselves with suicides and all that, where stress can be measured. Our app can measure the stress easily. So you introduce this in your workplace, people can check before and after work, see if they're very, very stressful. HR can talk to them. They can identify the stress, people with stress and all that. So there are a lot of things you can do. It's not just about measuring the key vitals, it is also measuring the stress levels. Okay, and coming to the other point, right, we have actually started translating this whole product into different languages in India. Okay, so it will be available in most of the regional languages in India, from north to south, anywhere you go. So we will be releasing in some languages every month. Like, I think we are releasing Hindi, Punjabi, Telugu, Kannada, some other languages, like the 6 or 7 languages we are releasing in the next version, and then after that some more after that. So every month there will be more languages available for people to understand. And we are also looking for local partners also. I think every state need a partner, like, to understand, because they understand the demography better than us, right? And it is easy for them to get the people to use and tell them the users how good this is for them. So we are also looking for statewide partners, and we have progressed well.
How many subscribers you have currently, and let's say, comparatively last year, and what are your expectations in the current year? By the end of this financial year, how many subscribers you are, looking at adding to your already subscription base?
Yeah, now we have done the soft launch just last month. It's been like 1.5 months. Okay, so there were no one before that. It is just available and no one knows about this product. Okay, a lot of this is where we want people like BioVoice to tell people there is something like this available. Okay, and then get more people to use and more subscribers to come on board. Okay, so we need Rahul, BioVoice, and everyone to help us to get more subscribers and more people to monitor their health in a better way. That's one. And at this stage, I think we have around 12,000 to 15,000 subscribers, but most of them happened only from the soft launch we did. Okay, and just that was very organic growth. Okay, we haven't done much of marketing. We have just started marketing. We've just started promoting very recently, and we want to promote it in a very good way. We don't want to rush into things. We want to develop the product as we go, and it should be useful for the people to live a healthy and happy life. It should not be something we are rubbing onto them. And then most important thing is it is in your pocket. You can check once, twice, 10 times. One subscription, one annual subscription, which is for 13 months. You subscribe once and you can use it 100 different times in a day.
Right. And since there are so many apps in the market, how do you look at there are also apprehensions that, what will happen with the patient data safety? So much of data is collected, and a lot of critics raise these questions that there is no compliance as such. Government is not very clear about what sort of compliance should be, put there. There's no regulatory authority as of now. So how do you look at the patient data safety? How do you safeguard so much of data which you are collecting, from the patients?
Yeah, the data, this was from day one my priority, because especially in Australia, it is now criminal offense. So it is very important for us to protect data. Okay, so not just because we can access this, or no one should be accessing it, especially things can be hacked. Okay, big computer systems or big systems, big intelligence systems, like very big organizations, government organizations are being hacked. Okay, so that was my first priority, to protect and safeguard the data. So when when something is being collected, we do not keep any data. It is all in the client's phone only, and we only get a very basic data, which is most of it is also masked. Okay, so if we have a name and a mobile number, for example, we do not hold any sensitive information of a particular person or a patient. No, that is more important than anything else for us.
Right. So, one last question is, how do you look at the future of, health tech evolving in India, particularly with innovations in AI, IoT, and digital diagnostics?
I think health has been, there's a lot of innovation happened over a period of time. So, okay, even then new technologies came and old technologies never faded away, because surgery has to be done surgery. Okay, Sushrita is a Sushrita for a reason, right? Okay, so if you go to Royal College of General Surgeons, you see Acharya Sushrita's statue there. I feel so happy about it, because he's done something which is still used, no matter what technologies come in. But every technology that comes in, okay, whatever technology that comes in will be complementing, and anything that is complementing will last for a long time. Okay, so this is not the first time something has come up, right? There were a lot of other technologies introduced. Okay, some of them just faded away. If they come into the market and there's no user friendliness, or there could be no trust gained from the society or community at large, right? But when the product is good, it will last long, and it will also complement the system which is already there. Okay, so that is when these products can go for a long time. If you are trying to run over the traditional system, I don't think it will go for a long time. I think both systems have to go hand in hand, help each other, latest technologies with old systems. That's when we go a long way for the better future, better health for everyone.
I would add one more question. There must be challenges also which you must be navigating. So what are the let's say key challenges which you are still facing, and what is the support you require from the various stakeholders, including the government? Briefly.
Uh, at this stage, the challenges are huge, because the first challenge is people trusting the product like this, right? They see the product and they're always used to go to a place and get checked and things like that. Okay. And again, with your questions itself, right? You keep telling me that there are a lot of products, but there's every product needs something, like you need another gadget to be worn, right? So with our product, you don't need anything like that. It is just your phone. It is our first challenge is to gain confidence of the people. Okay. And then in this process, I'm not sure if I can say this, but I'm actually talking to the National Medical Council people also. And I spoken to a committee member there. We have asked them to do some trials at some of the government facilities also. We've done a lot of trials at the government facilities in India, but we want NMC to do it, actually, National Medical Council, National Health Council, in fact, we want them to do the trials. Okay, non-unbiased trials. Okay, we won't be part of that. Okay, so they have advised us they can do this, and we are in the process of talking to them, because when we speak, and I'm also getting a lot of other specialists, other specialists also to join us, and some of the professor also joining. I'll be bringing in more of the technical team also. Okay, more of the scientists who are involved in the product also into the limelight, so people gain confidence who is actually built this, not just me and my, they should see who's actually working behind this, how this is backed by technology, who is backing this, how this has actually come up. All these people will come out, and then slowly people will start getting, for example, David Warner started using it. We didn't even know. Through my network, I found out David was using it, and I've approached him at a function. We both were there. Okay. And I've approached him. I've asked him how was the product, and he didn't know it was ours, right? And we had a conversation, and he was very happy about it. In fact, I met him yesterday, and he was showing to his wife and all that. It was really good. People like that. He must have, a person like David Warner. For him, wellness and fitness is paramount, right? You can't go. He has to be top class to perform. So if he is using, he must have got some kind of consultation. So that gives me confidence. That is what has given me confidence. And we have also presented this to a lot of other people too. It's not just me. A company, a big pharma. I'm not allowed to name the company yet for confidentiality reasons, but a big pharma giant in Venezuela, they're actually talking to us to roll out in Venezuela, but they want it in Spanish, which we are working on now. So they have already used it. They're very confident, and they want to go. And there is another team. Sorry to take your time, but so there is another company, another firm in Bengal. He's also talking to me because he's already used, and he's from the industry itself. He's from the insurance industry.
Thank you so much, Hariji. It was really pleasure speaking to you, and great valuable insights. So
thanks, Rahul. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
So, dear audience, stay tuned for the next episode of Face to Face with BioVoice News. Thank you and goodbye.